Well, Amy, I think in some ways we're doing our kids a big disservice. I found that the older you get, the more you don't care about what people think. Okay, the more you don't care about what people think.
I think that's a me question then.
You need to know that I genuinely care about you, the individual. Because if I care about you, the individual, then hopefully you'll care about yourself. Nobody really knows what they're doing.
Once you understand your mind and what's going on internally, it makes it a lot more clearer to be able to kind of navigate through all the noise out there.
You can take the thoughts from your head and put it down where you can see it. If you can see it, you can believe it.
Hello, I am joined here today with Renaldo Lawrence, who has graciously gave me some of his time to be on When I Grow Up. Ronaldo used to be my IT teacher. It's been about 15 years.
15 years.
15 years.
And it's flown by.
Goodness hasn't hit you. I would say, I would always describe you as a bit of a mentor type.
Right.
That's how I've always kind of seen you when we've gone on our walks. What we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking a lot about tech, education, and just a bit about what Ronaldo's up to. So,
yes, hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me, Amy. It's really a pleasure to come to see you. I think our sort of relationship, if you will, it all started after school when I don't know who called who, but I don't know how we met, but
I think you were putting up all loads of videos
right.
about self-development and motivation.
Yes.
And I think I saw them and I reached out and I was like, oh, this is really helpful.
Yes.
And obviously because I already saw you as like a teacher type, it was quite easy to just be like, hey, what's this you're doing?
Yes. Yeah, and then we started walking. Sometimes every Sunday we do from about, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and we do about 2 miles, 3 miles sometimes.
So, an hour? I
don't
know, is that like whatever 2 miles, 1 mile is?
Yeah. We do about a good hour. So, and it depends on the pace we're walking.
Yes.
But it's my pleasure to be here.
It's all very, very helpful as well. I feel like the kind of things that we are interested in regards to our hobbies and things are quite similar.
Yes.
You were a lot, apart from the education, you were always very much into the tech and the cameras and using different softwares.
Yes.
I guess my first thing that I would like to ask you is, what do you do for a career now?
So I am an educator. I now teach at Glenn School, which is in Epsom.
Okay.
I've been there for, I think, 8 years. Wow, 8 years. I've now gone part-time, which I do Tuesday to Thursday, and it's been like a revelation. It's been amazing because I get time for myself. What I tend to do there is I tend to create video for the staff. Like I've done the videos for things like different events that occurs. I've done video for social media. So and it's my love, and to me one of the best parts of the whole deal is I get a chance to use my DJI Mavic 4 Pro. To me, that's amazing. Now my baby is the one we're filming on now, which is the Canon C80.
Yeah.
That's my baby, and I've got a 24-105 on there. And the beauty of that is I've got the controller where you can zoom in and zoom out. And what I love about this, if you use a gray card, then you can just color balance it straight away. And it's amazing.
That's quite handy.
Yeah, I'm in love with my gadgets.
So you were saying about the kind of content that you're recording for teachers. What does this look like? What kind of things have you been?
Okay, so what I'm in the process now of doing is doing about 10 videos. And what I've learned I teach iMedia. And what it is I use Photoshop and I use Premiere Pro in order to deliver the content to the students. But what I've discovered is there's a lot of teachers out there who don't really know where to get started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't know where to get started. And I think to me, the most important part is the organization part. It's getting started. So I'm creating a series of videos of when I first get the criteria up to when I deliver the criteria to the students. And what I'm hoping to do also within these videos is I'm hoping to record some of me in classroom delivering some of that content to the students so people can see that it is for real what I'm doing and it's my livelihood. I am very fortunate to be in an environment where I have a head mistress who's incredible. Her name is Jo Garrett. I'm very happy to have, thrilled to have a gentleman who actually is the deputy head, which is his name is Tom. So I'm thrilled, and then I have guys that I work with who is just amazing.
I can imagine it's an environment you very much need to coordinate and talk to each other about how you can really help the children as a whole, because I feel like it all just kind of links all in together, doesn't it, in terms of the education?
It does link in together, but one of the things that I've learned is that nobody really knows what they're doing. Nobody really knows what they're doing. And you know what you're doing after you've done it once or twice.
Yeah.
Because you roll out the kinks. So say, for instance, one of the pain points, because I used to be an examiner, and one of the pain points is that when you receive work from somebody, sometimes it's all disorganized. So the organization is extremely important. So one of the first things I do is I teach the kids how to create folders. I then teach them how to put the correct content in each of the folders. And then I teach them how to rename those folders so it's conducive to what the exam board wants. But also what I'm doing is I'm teaching them organization for their life.
Yeah.
Because if they get organized with me, hopefully they then be organized in their life as they go on.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely fundamentals, isn't it? That's
It is
going to be kind
fundamentals,
of
yes.
put into that vision and into that learning. Wow, that's really cool. I think it's really nice that you're creating something for the teachers to be able to help kind of project them a bit further up. Because I think teaching as a job seems really, really challenging. And especially when you've got a bunch of kids, there's probably 20 or 30 of them in a class at the same time, to be able to engage them and to be able to have the skills to be able to make sure that they are understanding it the way that they need to.
Yeah, it takes a real special person to be an educator. First of all, patience.
Yeah.
Second of all, in terms of differentiation, is trying to make sure that each student understands what you're talking about. So therefore, you have to pitch what you're talking about to so many different levels, and then hopefully that they understand. And then one of the things that I do, which will be in one of the videos that I'm talking about, is when the students have completed a piece of work for me, I then have them to print that out. I then read it, I mark it up, put suggestions on it, and give it back to them. But that does two things for me. First thing, it allows me to see how they write. So I now know how that child thinks, I know how that child writes, and therefore if they try to use AI or something, I know it's not their writing, because I know their style. The second thing it does for me is it helps me to understand exactly who that child is. You know what I mean? So by their writing. The other thing I will say that I do when students come to me, especially the first time that I see them and I get a brand new class, is I have them to write something about what they've done that summer and what happens when they've written what they do that summer. That allows me to get to know them. So I ask them questions like, who's your brother and sister? Do you have brothers and sisters? Where did you go this summer? What do you like? Do you play in a band? So that when I'm working with those kids, then I can ask them questions about their life. So there's more than just I'm trying to get something from them in terms of coursework. It's me knowing them.
Yeah, it's so important, isn't it? Because I think when you step into education, it's very much you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this and do this. But then it's very much there's so much more around it that makes up what that person or that child sees or how they learn and it's quite interesting the way you said about the AI, because obviously with all the technology coming into place, and I do believe that this day and age is very overwhelming for younger people.
It is.
Because there's just so much information out there, and let's face it, at that age you don't really know too much about what's going on in the world.
No.
So if you get a bit overwhelmed, it can just be a little bit easier to type it into an AI software or something. So it's really good to know that firstly, you can actually tell the difference between that. And I think that actually shows the quality of teacher that you are, because you're actually paying attention to all the little details of what the children are doing and what they're bringing.
Well, I also think, not only that, I also think the most important thing in education is that you know that I care. You know that I genuinely care about you, the person. Hence the questions that I write, so I get to know you, that you write, so I get to know you. And therefore, once I know you, I can then have those little conversations. And it's funny because then once we have those little conversations, then when you see me on the playground, when I'm doing duty or something, you talk to me sometimes about what you like and what you don't like. One of the things that I think parents fail to understand is that they come to me and they say, oh, my kid, he's amazing on computers. And that might be great, but it's usually games that they're amazing on. That has nothing to do with the kind of information they need to give me in terms of completing their coursework.
That's really interesting, because we are definitely in a digital gaming world as well. So do you, because I feel like there probably are some skills that kids could learn from gaming. I think personally, I find that it can help in a social aspect. Actually being able to, kids, like I feel like back in my day, it was just, we were out the whole time. It was being outside and you was knocking on people's doors, and there wasn't really all that social media going on. But nowadays, it's a lot easier for kids to just stay inside and be on their computers and whatnot. So then when they do go outside, the social skills aren't actually there as much. So I do believe that you could get a slight like social awareness, but also it's quite scary because you don't really know who's on the other side of anything.
No, you don't. And I think, you know, when we were growing up, the great thing about I used to remember, you know, if you say playing, now kids play games. I played with a stick. I had a stick and I used to play, you know, going along the street, hitting the stick and trying to stick, and I hit rocks.
Skimming rocks and things,
Yes. And whereas now kids tend not to get outside, they tend to game with their friends or you know, like that. And there's nothing wrong with that unless it's in, you know, it needs to be in a controlled environment.
100%.
You know, and parents need to know what their kids are doing.
Have you noticed any kind of evolution of what that is from when you started to how it is now?
Yes. So I think the biggest thing, and I know people harp back to this, but it's so true. COVID played a detrimental part on kids' development. So now what we have is we have kids who I don't think are fully developed as young people coming through, because they don't have the social skills that otherwise they would have had. Because I think what COVID, 2 years, a year, 2 years, something like that COVID was. And so that actually took us out of school properly for quite a while. And then we went back, there was still like, oh, we don't know what's going on. So, I think the students, you know, with parents who kept them in the house, maybe sort of mollycoddled them a little bit, so they didn't get to know what it's like to deal with other people and have tribulations, you know, and have disagreements, and then sort those disagreements out. So I think there's a lot to be said for kids' development these days. But I think the main bit with me that is so important with me is you need to know that I care. You need to know that I genuinely care about you, the individual. Because if I care about you, the individual, then hopefully you'll care about yourself. But then hopefully also the work that I need to get from you, you'll produce in a nice manner, in a manner that you feel that is conducive to how you want to feel.
Yeah, that's I think definitely that ability to be able to connect on that level where the child feels safe and open to be able to like discuss and feel comfortable, that is very, very important. I think it can be, in my experience, it can be quite difficult because certain things can almost like numb your receptors to be able to properly and efficiently connect.
Yes.
I think a lot of the things that have happened, like I just keep thinking about social media really, like, and I think social media is good if you know how to kind of like work it. It's like a camera sort of thing. Unless you know how it works, then it can be quite, I don't know, like that, whatever that is.
I think it's I never used to know what somebody wore unless I saw them. I never knew what somebody had unless I saw them with it in their hand. Now social media allows kids to see people from around the world who have a lot of money, who don't have a lot of money, who are pretending to have a lot of money. So they get a different skewed perception of what people's life really are. And you know, I've seen people, you know, where they stand by the car and take pictures with the car, and so I assume that they want people to think that this car is their, you know, their car. I see people who go in stores, and then I literally seen people go in stores and buy stuff, take pictures with the stuff on, and then take the stuff right back to the store.
I feel like that is what the younger generation are doing. I feel like it must be some need to kind of a validation, or to maybe fill a void or something. But a bit like, in regards to how that kind of behaviour, and obviously this is a bit of a generalisation, but them being in the classroom, would you find that the attention spans are less, or like how do you think it has affected the children?
They have a TikTok attention span.
Yeah, it's like 3 to
20,
5
30
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah.
TikTok attention span. So, and again, it all goes back to me developing a relationship with that child. So that child knows exactly what I need them to do. But also it goes back to me understanding how I want to teach my class. So for instance, I have some time when I will say to them, you know, once we're really into it, okay, I'm going to give you the option right now. Maybe say 35 minutes into the class, I'll say, okay, everybody stop. And then we have a situation where we have the students outside on the computers, and then we have desks in the middle. I'll say, okay, everybody come back to the middle. And then I will talk to them about something they need to do in terms of the coursework. But then sometimes I will say to them, okay, you've got now 5 minutes to do whatever you want to do. It can't be games, but you can do whatever you want. If you want to talk to your next door neighbor and check how they're doing the work, or you just want to talk about something that you've done outside, I don't care. But you got 5 minutes. So I have, I think I've developed a way of them knowing that it's not all just work. It is some enjoyment too. And I think, because I look at me, I don't want to be sitting on no computer doing something for somebody else no long period of time. So I have to then take my feelings and then take their feelings and sort of find the middle ground.
Yeah, because I think learning can be really, really fun. But I think having to do that consistent, like you say, I think breaking it up like that, that's really wonderful.
If you're interested in what you're being taught, it can be really fun. If you're interested in what's being taught. And I think I am lucky because what I teach, the kids want to know. Like I teach them how to create video. I teach them how to create a sequence. I teach them how to layer stuff on the timeline. I teach them how to use Photoshop, you know, with the layers and everything in Photoshop. So kids, you know, they really want to do. And once you show some students some things, they get excited. And I think the other thing that's really, really important is using the kids in the classrooms who are more developed than the other students. I will say, okay, John, can you go help Bill out? Because Bill is not sure. And it's amazing because those kids communicate in a way that I'm not privy to. They have their own language sometimes, and they understand each other better than they could ever understand me. So it's trying to get some of those students to help in the classroom. So my job is not always running around to the 30 kids I've got, but then we've got a community inside the classroom where that community is working together.
So, you know what I'm quite interested in actually at the moment? I would like to know your opinions on homeschooling being traditional education. I keep seeing a lot of things pop up at the moment. I know it's a thing that a lot of people do. I don't know much about it or whatnot, but I would just like to hear your perspective on that.
So I think homeschooling is amazing. I think two things with homeschooling though. Hopefully that the parent know what they're teaching the children.
Yeah.
And I think the negative part about it is that if that kid is not going out and getting social skills, then there's a big issue. Because if I'm just around my mom, around my dad, or whoever's coming in to teach me, an adult preferably,
It's like you're in an enclosed space.
Yeah, then they need to go out and learn social skills. They need to go out and with somebody, and I don't mean this literally, but somebody knocked them upside the head and they have to get in, confrontations, and they have to sort it out themselves instead of mom or dad or guardian always trying to sort stuff out for them. I think the school environment is an amazing environment. I really do. I think the school environment teaches kids how to deal with a lot of people. Now, there are some people who can't deal with that, and I understand that. I totally get that. But for the general population, I think it's wonderful to be inside of an environment that works for everybody. Or if it doesn't work for everybody, you can try to figure out how to make it work for you.
What would you say, so one of the things that I noticed that people were discussing was the type of subjects that people were learning. So in some of the things that have cropped up are things like just learning about, like, I don't know, growing food, or learning how, like, taxes, or like finances. Like, I feel like I've come out of school and I've not really had that too much. So I was just wondering what your views are on the kind of curriculum and.
Well, Amy, I think in some ways we're doing our kids a big disservice. And I'm not degrading any subject area, but I don't know the average person who's going to use algebra. I don't know the average person who's going to do that. However, I do know the average person who needs to balance a checkbook. I do know the average person who needs to cook. I do know the average person who needs to understand how to use a washing machine. I do know the average person, if you want to be, say for instance, a bricklayer, that they need the bricklaying skills. So I do know. So I think in some ways we're doing our kids a big disservice. I also think, however, saying that, I think part of school education is about learning how to learn. It's about learning how to learn. And I think being able to sit in an environment for an hour, listening to something, taking notes, I think that is so important for discipline. I think it's so important for learning how to learn.
I think as well, respect. Like, yes. I think you do get a lot of that within the educational system, because you're learning how to, respect authority, and you're learning how to respect your peers and work together. And I do think a little bit of that is lost in this day and age. I don't know how accurate my data is.
You're very accurate.
But that's, from my perspective, it feels like that a little bit.
Very accurate.
So,
and you know what the other crazy thing is, Amy? I would ask anybody who complains about teachers to come in for one day and take a class. Because not only will you have to deal with kids who want to be there, but you have to deal with kids who don't want to be there.
Yeah, but I think we got a snippet of that after COVID, when all the kids were trying to be at home and learn. Like, I know for facts that was a very, very difficult period. I think trying to have a personal life at the same time as working is hard enough, but then imagine if you then put kids into it and you're having to, like, season these young minds into, like, brilliant human beings. It's
But I think also the really negative thing in some ways about homeschooling is that those kids don't get to go to different people and have to learn from different people and see how different people operate. So, like, mostly I think we have 5 periods in the day. So they have to see 5 different individuals. So that's one of the benefits of school. Now, undoubtedly, I'm quite sure there's a lot of benefits of homeschooling that people can tell me that I don't know. But I can only tell you about my experience.
Fair enough. I do think it's very interesting. I do feel like the curriculum, again, I haven't done any extensive research on this, but I do think the curriculum could be kind of evolved a little bit.
I agree. And then, one of the things I love about the States, there are schools in the States that have where they will give the kids, or the kids pick a task, and then they have to get team members, and then they work at completing that task for like maybe half a semester. And then what they do is then they have to all work together to ensure that task is a success. So I think there are a lot of ways that we can juggle and sort of sort of change education.
I think that's just going to be general evolution, though, as time goes on. What about then public school v private school? Any views on that?
Okay, I think, I've been in a private school.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I've been in a private school.
Wonderful.
I've been in a private school quite a bit, not to teach, but to observe. And the only difference that I see in a private school is that the class sizes are smaller.
Oh, okay.
Teachers are no better than the normal schools, depending on the school. But it's just the class size. The average class size I have is between 28 and 31 students. So if I got a class of 15 students, that means that I can get around to every individual in the course of a lesson.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
That means I have more time to spend with each person. That means that I have more time to get to know them as individuals. That means that I have more time to care about what they care about. Also, it means that I have more time to mark what they've got. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. This year I had 2 classes of 30, I think it was 30 students in each class. So I had to mark 60 different pieces of coursework. One piece of coursework had 5 different folders with work in each one of those folders. In one of the folders, I had students' work was 100, I think he had 170 pages that I had to mark. Okay, now we have 3 videos in one folder, that in another folder, an assessment table in another folder, a testing folder. So we had 5 different folders. Now, that times 30, okay, for those students.
All of that just gives me a headache.
Yeah,
That's a lot of marking
it's
to
a lot
do.
of marking. But that's where the organization comes in. And that's where you have to be organized enough where you get the kids to do some of the work. You get them to create their own folders. You get them to make sure that they're doing the right thing. But also, the very, very important part about that is every time they do a major part of work, you mark it. So you can see who's done what. And I have a spreadsheet. And when the students have done a piece of work that they have to do for me, I put it on the board and I put a green if they've done it, red if they've not done it. So they can then see in the class who's done what. So we can get quite competitive, which is great. It's wonderful.
In my head, I was sitting there thinking, they could go and speak to the other people who have done it or haven't done it.
No. So you have the spreadsheet so they can see who's done what. And then I can have conversations with the people who haven't done it. Or I can say, okay, John, can you see Billy over there? Can you work with Billy on this particular topic?
Do you think competition in school is a good thing?
I think competition is an amazing thing because in life there's competition. Everything is a competition. Everything is a competition. How you get a job is a competition. How you walk down the street is a competition. And when I say walking down, yeah, it is competition because how you walk. You can either walk like you look like somebody or you can walk like the world is beating you up.
Oh, that's a really interesting way to
I
look
want
at
to deal with the people who are walking down the street like they are amazing. I don't want to deal with the person who's walking down like the world is beating them up.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's what I meant by the competition part of it.
That kind of feels like a bit of a me v me type thing. But that's a really nice way to frame it, like as a competition, because you're like competing with trying to be the best version of yourself in this world.
Well, look at it. When you go get a job, competition. When you
Yeah.
go to university, competition. When you're setting in the class with grades, competition. Who gets the A's, who gets the B's. Okay, it's competition. And the only thing about that type of competition in the classroom is okay, it has to do a lot with brain power, but it also has to do who wants to work the most. Who wants to work the most? Who wants the most for themselves? And boys tend not to, because boys are quite lazy, if I'm honest with you. I taught in both boys and girls school. In the girls school, every single girl wants to get it done. They want to get it done because they don't want to be left behind. But also they have, I think, a lot more self-esteem about what they're doing in terms of making sure that it's right. Whereas boys, I don't care. I said, well, you're going to get a D. Don't care.
that's interesting. That's really
But you
interesting.
learn later on that that's not how you should be. But boys take a long time to develop.
Yeah, I think that is true. I think as a female, I feel like I've definitely tried to work extra hard to kind of get to where it is that I'm trying to get to. So I can vouch for that one.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to talk a little bit about the fact that you're an Adobe educational leader. You've also done a Microsoft and a lot with Apple. So how have they helped you in your career and as a teacher?
First of all, so I'm an Apple Distinguished Educator. I'm also an Adobe Educational Leader, and I'm a Microsoft Innovator Teacher Developer. How those have actually helped me in my career. First of all, they've given me exposure. For Adobe used to have a situation where they would every summer would bring us to the States, and when you went to the States, everything is free. So you would then talk to the all the product managers. You would talk to the people who were in charge of Adobe, the company itself. Also, they would bring other educators. I think the most we had in terms of education, I think we had something like maybe 40 people. So you get a chance to develop relationships. But also, I've always felt like I was the person in the room who knew the least, because there were some amazing people.
Good place to be.
Oh, it's a wonderful place to be. There were some amazing people. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you shut up, sometimes you can learn something.
Yeah.
But the problem with a lot of people these days is when they go into the room, they want to be seen to know a lot. But I've found that if you shut up, people will tell you who they are.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I definitely was one of those people. I would speak so much it was more just to fill a space from a place of anxiety or kind of nervousness being in that particular environment. But I think it is definitely a thing I've started to realise. And I think I want to say maybe is a bit of ego in there, possibly in regards to the needing to speak so much and be right in what you're saying. I've definitely been there, but I have to agree with you. Being quiet and actually observing and listening and taking it in is definitely so much more rewarding.
It is. And with all the other software companies, we've gone on various trips and stuff. And to me, is meeting the people. But also the amazing thing is that I get all the Adobe software for free.
Oh, nice.
So that allows me to create and develop content for both teachers. Now, when I said about developing content for teachers, so I run a website where I will go in and I record teachers doing their lesson. I then take the content that they've taught, so the Word documents, whatever, turn them into PDFs. I then develop a website for those particular teachers in which I can then give that, and then their students and parents can actually have access to what they were taught or what they need to accomplish for that particular lesson.
I guess that makes it a lot easier to be able to pinpoint the exact information that you need to extract from that to help you understand what's going on a little bit better.
Also, the content is right there in front of you, and you can hear me, the teacher, talking. Not somebody who's put another video out, but you can hear me, the teacher who's associated with you, talk about what you need to do.
Oh, that's really wonderful. And so where is this? Is it directly just for the students, or is it something that everyone has access to?
Everybody have access to, but what you have is you have to register the students that you want on the course.
Okay.
And so you register, so we registered, I think, 30 students this year. So I have a year 10 class coming in who I've never taught before. And then I have a year 11 class who's already done one project. So all those students are registered with the actual board. And therefore they get a number. And then when I submit those work at the end of the year, I have to then submit that number. That's how they identify the student.
Okay, and then they just log on to it like a learning platform and seeing all the
Yeah, but I try to make it easier for them because I don't want them to log on to anything but the content that I'm giving them. So what I do is I take all the content from the board and put it into a website. So they have easy access to
that's
it.
Handy.
And then what I do is I break all the content down where I'm talking in my speak and then their speak. So, okay, so I talk in their speak and my speak. So once they've been in class with me about 2 or 3 weeks, they understand exactly how I talk. So therefore, like what I'm doing now, which is really, really interesting, I've been developing some videos now for parents. So I'm explaining to parents what their child needs to do for me at year 11, and I'm going to do the same thing for year 10.
That's really wonderful. That's such like a bridge, like a connector
Yes.
between all the different people so that they can understand the information.
I can't do this alone. I need the parents to be with me.
Yeah, definitely.
It's their child. I can't do it alone.
I think that's definitely, I'd imagine the children would enjoy it a little bit more because it's a bit more familiar in regards to you who's teaching, but also in regards to the technology that's being used.
Yeah.
Because I do find that younger people, and anyone but in this situation, younger people tend to be able to understand how to use technology a lot more because they're on it a lot more.
But for the right things. For you being able to play a game does you no good in my class.
No.
However, if you want to play a game in, say, Mr. McGregor's class, then yes, because he's teaching Python, he's teaching game development, which what I'm doing is not game development. What I'm doing is, if you walk outside right now, you see a sign, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If you walk outside now and you see a video on a board, one of the video boards, that's what I'm teaching. I'm teaching them how to develop those content. Whereas on the other side of it, where you have computing is where you learn how to code, hand code and everything.
That's interesting.
But what's really interesting now is that once you learn how to hand code, you can shorten the process by using these tools like ChatGPT, as long as you check the code and make sure that the code is right.
Yes. So have you, as a teacher, have you used or found AI useful?
I have found AI to be extremely useful. So what I've used AI for is I've used AI to help me develop lesson plans. I've used AI to help me develop ideas that I've had. So I use AI a lot.
I absolutely love it. For this whole podcasting series, I found it so interesting in regards to helping me script write.
Yes.
And helping me just descriptions and things, because I find that sometimes I understand something in my head, but then to be able to put that across in a coherent way that's going to be understood by a lot of people, I find it a little bit more difficult.
Yep, paper and pencil. The most magical thing on this planet is paper and pencil, because you can take the thoughts from your head and put it down where you can see it. If you can see it, you can believe it.
Yeah.
If you can see it, you can believe it.
What I would like to know next is, I think we kind of touched on this one a little bit, but the evolution of technology in educational systems. I think we've kind of...
Can I just say, Mr. Jobs, wherever you're at now, thank you.
Mr. Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Oh.
Thank you. Because, he and others have revolutionized the way we do things. From the way we bank to the way we communicate. I right now can pick up my phone, and my family's in America, 8-hour plane ride away. Yet I can see them as clear as day, as clear as I can see you now. So so technology is amazing. However, on the other side of that, it can be quite dangerous too. And I feel for the people who are older who are trying to learn this stuff, because it can be quite difficult to get your brain to think about this stuff, and then unfortunately people try to take advantage of people who don't know about this stuff, so that is sort of like the negative side of it.
Yeah, that sucks.
It does suck. It does suck.
I guess, because if you think about businesses, a lot of older people in businesses understanding the different way, because I feel like we live in a world where you have to market yourself, you have to put yourself out there if you want to kind of create any kind of business or something, and it's really trying to put human nature and human complexity into ones and zeros is quite a feat.
It's difficult. But there's no use in fighting it because it's here.
Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So you might as well try to adapt it.
Yes,
But adapt it for you, not for anybody else, but for you.
So I think we've probably covered a few of these, but what would you say like your biggest passions are at this time in your life?
Shooting video. Shooting video. That is my biggest passion. I just love video, and I love because video does so much for you. Video, you can watch video after a long period of time. You can learn from video. YouTube is my favorite station, if you will, now. And the amount of people who have channels that are successful. If I want to know anything, the first thing I do is hit YouTube, because there's somebody out there who wants to show you how to do it, and I love it. I love it.
It is quite nice, actually. We do have so much education at our fingertips. Like,
can I tell you what I tell my kids? They say, "Sir," I say, "Okay." One of the questions I write is, "What do you want to do with your life?" "I want to be a doctor." "Yes, okay." "I want to be a bricklayer." "I want to clean windows." I said, "Well, do you know anything about that?" "No." I said, "Well, do you know about that university that's free?" "University that's free?" YouTube University. YouTube is amazing. Anything that you want to do, somebody's done it. YouTube University.
That's so true.
And why not get started now when you're in school, so by the time you leave school, you really know what you're doing?
I think in regards to actually understanding what they want to do and the direction, would you say that's become easier or more difficult?
I say it's become more difficult because with being content creators now, it sort of cloud their judgment. Or, well, I would say that wrong. Being a content creator now has opened up a lot more avenues for them in order to be successful. So I think, no, I don't know. I think education is so that, I think you have so many choices these days. And then it's like going in a supermarket and then you're looking for cereal. And then you have 1,000 boxes of cereal. Which ones do you get? So that's how it is with the kids now. They're just looking at all this stuff. Yes. And they're trying to figure out, what do I want to do? And I think, and one time they used to have, what do you call them? Guidance counselors. And the guidance counselors would sit down with people and try to figure out what they wanted to do and then try to steer them in that direction. No longer, I think, is that the case. I think it's now you just try to do it for yourself.
Well, I think that's probably where the whole self-development thing comes into play. I feel like these are the kind of questions and things that I like to try and answer and discuss. And I think once you understand your mind and what's going on internally, it makes it a lot more clearer to be able to kind of navigate through all the noise out there, because, I think there's a lot.
And the bottom line is this. The bottom line is, you need to love you. You need to care enough about yourself that you want to do well for yourself. You need to care enough about yourself that you will pick up that book. You need to care enough about yourself that you will go to YouTube and learn. You need to know enough about yourself that you want to care about yourself. That's so important. You have to love you. The bottom line of everything is loving you. And stop trying to find things that don't go right for you. Stop, I do one thing. So every night before I go to bed, I write 3 things down that I've done positive that day. So when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is thank God for having me and allowing me to breathe. Second thing I do is make my bed. That's my first success of the day. Third thing I do is I read what I've done positive the previous day. That gets me off into a great start because I've done something positive already. I've done 2 things positive. Well, 3. I woke up, made my bed, read what I've done yesterday.
Yeah, and I think that's the simplicity of that as well. I think while the world is so saturated, it can be quite easy to get pulled in different directions, but the simplicity of just waking up, like you say, making your bed, making my bed is also one of my first things I do.
Yes.
Because just getting into that kind of positive habit, it creates a lot more space for you to be able to step towards the things that you want to do or where you want to be.
Yes. Stop being negative.
Yeah.
Stop being negative. See the good in everything And I don't mean not literally see the good in everything, but I mean you don't see the good in somebody hurting a child. But what I'm saying is in your life, see the good in what you do, because there is good in what you do.
Yeah, I guess it's always like there's always going to be a positive or a negative side to something, so you can always choose to look at the side that's going to assist you more in getting to where you want to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love you. Love you. You're the best thing going.
I think that is probably going to be the key bit of advice,
You're the best
because I
thing
think
going.
that is going to definitely drive everything else. So that leads me on to my next question.
Okay.
What drives you in everything that you do? I mean, we've gone through for many walks, and I've known you for a while now, and I have to say, you were always so positive and always optimistic. Whenever we see any people about, you're always saying hello and engaging. So what drives that for you to be like that so consistently?
I wasn't always like that. I used to be quite negative. But I've changed. You know, when you meet somebody who's walking, you might be the only person they speak to that day, especially if they're sort of elderly. You might be the only person that they communicate with. So talking to them might be the only positive thing that they get from the day. Because if you sit with yourself sometimes, you can think of some negative, dark things. But if you get out there and do things, then you find reasons to be positive. You find reasons to want the world to be a better place. You know, you really do. You really do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's quite interesting as well, because if we kind of look at it like, well, when you interact with somebody, it's like that's the channel that's on the TV at the time. Because
Ooh, that's good.
then they're going to walk to another place and have another experience, and they've just switched the channel.
That's good.
So then actually we've only just, if people are only seeing you in that moment or that channel, then that's probably the view, well, not that that matters as much, but that's the view they're going to have on you the whole time, but that's also the experience that they would have had with you in that moment. So I completely understand what it is you're saying. How, like, getting there, though, I think is something completely different. For me personally, I find it very difficult when I am feeling a certain emotion and it could completely overwhelm me and completely take hold of me, and I can't really see anything else other than that. So trying to switch that on and off to be able to give what people actually do deserve, which is positivity and, you know, kindness and love, isn't always that easy to do.
No, it's not. But I tell you one thing. Years and years and years of practice. Years and practice. But also, I found that the older you get, the more you don't care about what people think. Okay? The more you don't care about what people think. If I'm doing what I need to do for me and my family and I'm not hurting anybody else, why should I care about your opinion?
Which then I guess leads you into, well, would lead me into thinking that you can disconnect from it a little bit more instead of hold, like one of the phrases that I keep hearing recently is hold it lightly.
Amy, I don't look for it. I don't look for other people's opinions. I don't need your opinion about me. I'm good. I'm good. I have a mother who's 99 years old. She has dementia, but she's 99. So why does your opinion matter to me? I've seen her do things that I never thought was possible. I see my mom stop smoking like that, after smoking for X amount of years. I've seen my mom go back to school when she stopped and got a high school diploma because she didn't want her kids not to get a high school diploma because she wanted to pave the way. So what does your opinion mean to me?
So what about when people give you their opinions and they've not been requested?
It's up to you whether you take it or not. It's up to you how you interpret that opinion.
I think for me, there's always this toss-up between being socially acceptable v doing what it is that you would want to do. So if someone, say, for example, comes up to you and starts talking to you about like their opinion or something, you could just be like, oh no, I'm not interested, and walk away. And that would be that may be the natural reaction. But then actually is that that's not really appropriate to do or say.
Amy, I don't know who your friends are, but I don't have people that do that to me. I have people, they come to me to talk about what I'm involved in at that particular time, say for instance like school or like going out to do a thing. But I don't put myself in a situation where I need somebody's opinion to be validated.
Yeah.
To me, I don't need you to to validate me.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
good. I'm good. I am good. I'm good. Good.
Yeah. I think that's a me question then. Okay, so then circling into my next point, what is your opinion and your views on mental health?
I think mental health is real. I think it's really real. And what's really, really, really real is how you deal with it. And some people struggle with mental health. I am doing a course right now. I'm doing I think it's 12, 13, 14 videos right now about mental health that I'm going to put out very shortly. But yeah, mental health is a real thing. And I think, however, you need to be careful as in the sort of environment that you put yourself in. If you know you're going to an environment that's going to trigger it, then maybe you need to stay away from that environment. But mental health is real, man. It's tough.
Have you experienced it much within schools?
Oh, all the time.
What does that look like?
Well, for me, it looks like kids who can't cope with being in the classroom. It looks like kids who can't cope with getting a lot of information. It looks like kids who, when you ask them to write something down, whatever you're saying, they don't hear what you're saying. They hear and put down something completely different. It looks like when parents come in and bring their kids in because the kids don't want to come to school, because they're nervous about coming to school. That's what it looks like in school.
I think that's quite interesting what you're saying about the information won't go in and then they just start writing. I think for me, in my experiences with mental health, one of the main things that has been an information overload and an overwhelm. And then at that point, my mind would just go blank. My arms would start tingling, my head would start going wavy, like I won't be able to see properly. And it's quite a scary place and quite a scary position to be in. And I wonder what it looks like to be able to not necessarily combat that, because I think you learn your skills as you go along. And as you say, when you get older, you learn more skills to be able to navigate it and tools and whatnot. But I think it's quite interesting to know as a teacher, what would your approach be to somebody in that experience or having that experience?
I don't bombard them with information. I continue to repeat information to them. Like for instance, like we're creating folders. I will go over with those kids like maybe a half an hour about how to create a folder. I'll then get folders. I'll then get somebody else in the class who's got it to get up and go work with other people within the classroom. And I don't believe in embarrassing anybody in the class. I don't believe that. Unless you're being an idiot, then that's a different story.
Then what?
Then we going to get into it. I have about that much patience because I know how important it is, the education. I know how important it is to come from not very much to have an education, to have a master's, to work in education. So it's very, very important that you don't disrupt other people who are trying to learn because you can't pay attention in class. What I tend to do is I tend to then maybe have you back after the class, have you back after school. But I tend not to have those issues. I really don't. And I'm not saying that I'm a great teacher. I tend not to have those issues because the kids really respect me. And I'm very fortunate in that aspect. Now, don't get me wrong. I have one or two different type of kids. But for the most part, I don't tend to have that. And I think a lot of that is because I am not just teaching them about school. I'm teaching them about life.
As a whole.
I'm teaching them how to live life. And I think that's so important.
Yeah, I guess that does come into what we were speaking about earlier in regards to just knowing them as a whole individual instead of just being like, learn this, do that sort of thing.
Yeah. You don't want to do it, so why would you make them do it? It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Oh, that's a lot of information which my head hasn't quite been able to process too much, if I'm honest. So I'm going to pause for a second and just think about my next question.
Okay, sure. Sure. And I think also, what time is it?
Oh gosh. Oh, well, oh my goodness, we've been recording for like 50 minutes.
Yeah. So what time? Do you know the time? Though?
Oh yeah, we've got to wrap it up.
What time is it?
12:56.
Yeah. Okay. We good.
And what about the room's only hired until about 1ish.
So we need to finish.
We need to wrap it up, but I've only got one question left. So that is okay. Oh, we have already spoken about this a little bit.
We can ask again.
Yeah, just in regards to your courses that you spoke to about in regards to mental health and what they're about.
Yeah, I've experienced mental health with a lot of different people around me, in school or wherever. And I just think that I've got something to say about it, and I've got some techniques that maybe can help. So I'm developing these courses with this course to actually help people. And what I also do is every single day for the last 7 years, honest to God, for the last 7 years, every single day I put out a self-help video to try to help people. And the reason I do that is because one day about 6 years ago, this woman saw one of my videos and she just said to me, can I contact you? And I'm like, yeah. So she contacted, she told me, she said, I want to thank you. I said, ma'am? She said, I want to thank you. She said, because the day I was thinking about killing myself. And she said, I listened to your encouraging word and I decided not to. And I thought, damn, that's a lot of responsibility. But you never know who listens to your word.
Yeah,
you never know. You never know who listens. So, and the one thing I will say, believe it or not, these thoughts just drop into my head, and I do think they come from a higher power, which is God.
Yeah.
I do think they come from Him, and I do think it is what He wants me to say, and I think it's what people need to hear.
And so where would people be able to find this course?
So they can find it on any of my social media platforms. So
Okay.
Renaldo Lawrence 1, I think, on Instagram. If you just search Renaldo Lawrence, you can find anything that I do.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me.
It has been amazing. And you know what has been really, really nice? Setting and helping you set up the equipment. That has been phenomenal.
Yes.
That has been phenomenal.
It has been quite cool. I feel like I'll be a pro soon.
And I want to thank you also for your friendship, coming from the school and then being able to separate that previous life to the life that you have now, and being able to understand where you're going and how you're trying to get there. So I think you're a wonderful young lady.
I think you're also very wonderful and very, very wise. So thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure.
So join us next time on When I Grow Up.
Thank you. Yes. Great job.
Oh,
Great job. Whew. That was good.
Yes.
That was good.